So I let the mosquito trap run for 2 weeks. Got 23 mosquitoes, so 12 or so each week. And that's still lower than the first couple weeks. But there are no mosquitoes left in the yard. We've been sitting out there in the evenings, and maybe there's one or two, but they're pretty much gone. And so I think we're not even 200 mosquitoes deep into the trap after, I think it's been 6 weeks. And there's no mosquitoes left in the yard. So that goes back to a theory that I have from my parents' house, where my dad killed a bunch of mosquitoes in one day with this little trap, and then the mosquitoes in his property, which is a couple acres, disappeared, and then about a month later they showed up again. So his theory is that he broke the breeding cycle, and then he had to kill the next cycle, and then you're mosquito free for a month. And that seems to be true at our house. So that's the trap, and our yard is quarter acre maybe. And I think what's going on is that we're killing the mosquitoes in this area, and so there's fewer and fewer mosquitoes to kill. We're not getting any interaction with the mosquitoes, but then a breeding cycle should appear here pretty soon, where we're going to get a fresh batch of mosquitoes from wherever. They'll hopefully be trapped in the mosquito trap. They'll die in the mosquito trap, so we'll get a spike in mosquitoes trapped, but then there will still be less mosquitoes in the yard, and then it'll slowly taper off. The breeding cycles will get smaller and smaller. But what's interesting about that is that I always assumed growing up, you walk outside and you get bit by a bunch of mosquitoes, and I assumed that those mosquitoes are coming from all over the neighborhood just to find you. And the mosquito, if you killed one mosquito, another one's just going to move in. And if you killed 1,000 mosquitoes, the next week 1,000 more mosquitoes are going to move in. Look, we got our toad tadpole populations have exploded. There's a bazillion of those. Like the wall is just black with tadpoles. Isn't that crazy? So turns out, I think, I'm still kind of discovering this, and I'm sure there's professional mosquito people that know, but it turns out that mosquitoes are very territorial. They kind of stay in one place and don't migrate that much. And so if you kill the population in your area, then they'll stay relatively gone until there's a migration. And evidently, there's the bullfrog. And evidently, the migration only happens a couple times a year, and that's when they will take the mosquito spray trucks, I can't remember what they're called, mosquito vector trucks or whatever, and they will circle your town and create kind of a fog around your town to keep the mosquitoes out during the migration period, so they don't drift into town or wherever they don't want them. And as long as you can combat that migration, you help the giant mosquito populations moving into your town. So super interesting. There's a dragonfly larva. Super interesting how it's playing out here, but I'll keep you guys posted, I guess, on whether or not the mosquito population in the trap spikes from time to time, or if it stays relatively low. But I'll also be interested to see if the mosquito interactions in the backyard ever come back, because that trap is running 24/7 now. I have the cover. I was going to leave the cover off, but it's baited now for 2 weeks. Oh, that's the other thing I didn't say, is that last 2 weeks was 2 weeks with the bait, with attractant in there, like store-bought attractant, synthetic. And so I was wondering, are we gonna get a lot more mosquitoes with the bait? No, I don't think so. Maybe I mean, maybe we got 24 or 23 mosquitoes with the bait, and we would have gotten 10 without it, but we didn't get hundreds with the bait. And so we're gonna leave it like that running for the rest of the summer with a cover, because the bait's in there and because